Hello, my name is Kevin Simpson, founder of Aieloc, or the Association of International Educators and Leaders of Color. This is a brief video to introduce you to Aieloc. We are devoted to amplifying the work of international educators and leaders of color with a focus on what we call our big three: advocacy, learning, and research. We have 700 plus members, 45 plus business members, and then about 17 or more schools that are currently part of our association. Why do we exist? Well, about 8 years ago in 2017, we started after a colleague was discouraged from applying for a leadership position due to her race, her gender, and her country of origin. We felt that that was wrong and that if that was going on in the ecosystem, something had to be done about it. Around 2020 January, we moved from a Facebook group into an association and invited past, present, and future educators and leaders to be committed to speaking up, to learning, to advocating for change, taking action to address all isms and phobias and discrimination in the international school ecosystem. How do we work? We work in lots of different ways. We work through affinity spaces that our members can create. We have consulting opportunities where we have folks that are right on the ground in different countries that can work as thought partners with individual schools. We have a research collaborative who are researching topics that never been talked about in the international school ecosystem. We have an advocacy collective to support individuals in terms of becoming more of a self-advocate as well as advocating for others. And then we host webinars virtually as well as in person and virtual conferences. And finally, we have cohorts, which I'll talk about in a bit. Do we support schools? So we currently have Aieloc school members. So a school can reach out to us who wants to become a member. We share those expectations, and then they decide yes or no in terms of becoming a school member. With our schools, we conduct things like needs assessments as they see fit. We offer ongoing professional learning. We have, again, consultants who operate as thought partners. The learning opportunities are ongoing, virtual and in person. And then when schools need resources, we're there to provide them. What's our impact? So again, going back to our big three, these are the core of Aieloc and what we really focus and center our work on. I'll start at the top: research. Like I said, there's lots of different topics that folks in EDD and PhD programs around the world have been exploring as it relates to folks who identify as BIPOC. Examples of Black women in leadership in international schools. So there's lots of different ways that have been written about and presented at different conferences. Learning ongoing when it comes to webinars. We host hundreds or co-hosts as well with our partners and with other groups and organizations throughout each year. And our advocacy is something that's been new the last couple of years. Again, it's holding space for people to learn how to advocate for themselves in various situations in their schools, as well as advocating for others, for their colleagues on an as-need basis. Legacy. When we think about our legacy, our leave behind, which is something that we currently focus on, is actually a word that was part of this decade of my life. Legacy, thinking about just not the now, and not only thinking about yourselves, but thinking about others. So a few things. We started Aspiring Leaders of Color program. We're currently going into year five, cohort five. We have had so far a alumni of 40 individuals who went through this program. They're paired with a mentor. They meet virtually, and then at the very end of that, they have what's called a capstone presentation. Each month, they participate in within community sessions that introduce them to different topics around leadership. So we're very excited to see folks matriculate through that program, but also become leaders in international schools and leaders who historically were not a part of the international school ecosystem. This launched, which is our certificate program for DEIJ leaders in collaboration with SUNY out of New York. It was meant to be a new program because we saw the rise of DEIJ leaders at international schools, but a way for them to be part of a cohort, to learn together, to explore. We just finished cohort one. They'll be doing their final capstone presentations in September. We're now entering cohort three, which will start in September of 2025. We're excited about that as we have a growing number of leaders. And this could be a teacher, it could be a co-teacher, it could be a head of school who participates in this program to grow in cultural competence and in leadership as relates to those topics. We're launching in the upcoming September what's now called our New Leaders of Color program. And that's for folks who are new to leadership. They might be in years 0 to 3. They'll be part of a new cohort. They'll have coaching, they'll have conversations, ongoing support from others who are in the same situation as they are around the world. Recruitment was a biggie. I talked about we started because of recruitment issues. So Aieloc, in collaboration with KDSO Global International Education Recruitment, launched a couple years ago as a way to rethink and reimagine recruitment. We currently have school members who are part of that. They can post their leadership positions, but they also get things such as professional learning and training in an ongoing manner. With membership also comes the opportunities for folks to connect around the world. We've seen a rise of that. And so part of what one of our fellows from this year, kind of Coach Suwa, created was the ALOC Community Meetup Handbook that guides and supports folks who are having those meetups in terms of how to structure it. We have ongoing conferences. We've had virtual conferences. We have a new one launching, the African International School Educators is coming up in September. We have our sixth annual Women of Color NELT and ALOC conference in November, which is held every November. And then we have our in-person conference. Our first one was held in Hanoi, Vietnam, and our second one will be held in February 2026 in Bangkok, Thailand. That's a little bit about ALOC. For more information, visit us at www.aieloc.org. Thanks again.